you got something. I think I'm not.
Alright, to do this, that. Let me double check.
Oh, the nerds from work are now live. Actually, it says the nerds from work is now live.
Is now live.
It's tragedy. Wait, do they hear us?
Right now they do, yep. They can't see us, though.
Nobody listening?
Correct.
There
he is.
Hello there. See if there's a chat room today. Oh shit.
We got 5 minutes. Alright, cool. We're good. We're good to go.
Are you in the chat, Tank?
Yeah. Yes, let me make sure we're going on.
Did you see that? Or am I in a different chat?
Oh, you're there.
Okay.
Poop.
Because I just clicked the link and it auto signed me in.
Oh yeah, no, perfect.
Usually it makes me sign. What the fuck? My dog is laying under here. Weirdo.
Alright, good. We are live on Twitch, live on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Good to go.
Ooh, I'm feeling the way you look, Brandon.
What?
I feel sleepy.
Yeah. Very sleepy.
Very sleepy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much describes me right about now.
Oh, I guess this one better.
God, I missed this. Damn, it's been an interesting couple of weeks.
So yeah, you haven't been on in 3 weeks or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. Got to make myself scarce, right? You know,
Scarce?
Increase the value.
The American word you're looking for is scarce.
Same thing I said.
Nope.
Just because a Frenchman says it one way doesn't make it any less the word, dude.
Scarce? It's definitely not
Scarce.
How not even close.
British. That's the British way they pronounce it. Never forget, Nigeria was a British colony, so there's a lot of things I've had to change in terms of the way I speak. Those of us who were kind of brought up by British and American television, we just kind of flip-flop between either one.
Is that really how they say it? Is scarce?
Yep.
That's how pirates say it.
Scarcity.
Really? Oh, well. Then I retract
I get into
my
these debates
statement.
with one of the guys in my office as well. He's always coming at me with certain things like, hey, you should say it this way. I'm like, dude, screw you. Okay, look, it's said this way by other parts of the world. It's no less the word. That's not the right word. I'm like, well, suck a lemon.
Suck a lemon.
So, what's up, Brandon?
All right.
What's up, man?
It's 80 degrees in my office tonight. These lights are making it that much better.
That's awesome.
Nope. Because I've been running around trying to get groceries done. Okay.
Is Jason not making it? No, his voice?
I'm assuming he's not. I mean, I'm pretty sure I figured he would have been on by now if he was.
He may have taken one of those antihistamines and knocked him out. Pow!
Yeah, I have no idea what the topic's going to be. I mean, we're just going to kind of, unless you guys have
just
something.
Go subversive and totally ignore Avengers and talk about Gemini Man.
So I saw that there was a trailer. I have not watched the trailer yet. So.
Oh, you probably want to see the trailer. It's. I mean, it's a nice trailer. It's cool. You know, it's not like it makes me jump up and down and go yay, but it's. Let's just say it's nice to see a Will Smith movie that I think I'm curious to see. Okay, let's see what this is like.
What is it called?
Gemini Man.
That makes way more sense because when I read it really, at a glance, I definitely read it as Genie Man. And I was like, he's already
They renamed Aladdin.
Are you right? I was like, what? I don't understand.
It's not even out. It's bombing. No.
When does Aladdin come out? Did it already come out?
The summer?
Aladdin. That's a good question. I actually don't know.
I think it comes out this summer. May 24th, apparently. Wow, that's really soon.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting summer.
It's got my girl, the Pink Ranger, in it. The new Pink Ranger.
People keep saying that, and I'm like,
okay with that.
Oh, really? Like, it totally went over my head.
Did you see the new Power Rangers?
The new one? Yeah, I did. But I don't remember a single person from the movie.
I remember the Red Ranger because he's in Stranger Things.
Oh, really? Is what?
He's like the bad guy.
Really?
In season 2. Well, not like the monster, but like a bad kid. Like beats his sister up and stuff.
Okay, I need to fix the audio on my stuff.
All right, hurry up because we're going live. We're supposed to be going live in 10 seconds.
Whoa! That's so soon. I think I broke my finger.
Way to go.
Yeah, well, I don't mean that audio. I mean the audio coming to me, not my output. So my output's going to be fine.
Here we go. Ready?
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Hell yes, I get to ride the dragon.
The hell's wrong with you people?
I know Kung Fu.
Tank, you want to switch? No, I'm good. I got it.
Stay down.
I could do this all day.
If you had to transform into one mythical creature and then get married to a different mythical creature.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Maximum effort. How about a magic trick?
HR.
Not an animal.
HR. Is HR.
Somebody call HR down here. That man is playing Galaga.
Welcome to the Nerds from Work, your weekly, weekly escape into the world of geeks, nerds, and we don't have a topic for this week, which makes I don't have an intro for this week. Jason's out last second because he's dying of pneumonic plague, which is awesome. So this week is brought to you by Winging It. Da-da-da-da. So with me is Brandon.
Hello.
And Naru.
What up?
So, I have no idea what's going to go on this week. It's going to be wacky, zany. I have no idea. So, Brandon, what have you been up to this week?
Not jack shit. Oh, yeah, I gotta open a beer.
My bad, I didn't realize I assume yours is already open. You know, you're usually 3D by the time we start recording. So
that's what I usually do.
These were popping. I actually came with a can today, so.
Oh, man, see.
Join the club.
Hey.
Once, right? Yeah.
Usually my plan is to be as drunk as possible before the show starts.
Right, so I just made the assumption.
Yeah, but today I ate McDonald's.
Same difference.
Yeah, same thing. Does the same thing to your body, probably. I actually... I did do something. I started watching Black Clover.
Hey!
Because it's dubbed now, so I don't have to read or hear, like, the super high-pitched main character's voice. But it's not any, like, less annoying because he still has, like, the same guy who's probably cast for every main character's voice these days. It's like a slightly raspier voice who's like, like a million miles an hour for everything screaming.
Yeah.
So
it gets better.
It's better than it definitely was the first, like, couple episodes.
Yeah.
I think I'm on episode like 12 or something.
I watched. So I started reading it when they first started showing trailers for the anime. I went and found the manga and started reading it. And I read pretty far, and then I started watching the anime and made it pretty. I mean, I'm not caught up. I think I'm like maybe a few weeks behind.
On the sub version, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I remember when, I think it was actually when it might have been when the show first came out or something, but it was a while ago. You and Jason told me about it.
Yeah.
Because Jason had started watching it too. And then, because I remember I was at his house, and I tried to watch one of the episodes, and it was way too much for me. So I turned it off. And then Yeah, I saw that as dub now, and I was like, oh, it's a different voice actor, and that was like the main reason I turned it off.
Yeah.
Which this voice actor is still like super annoying, but
Yep.
yeah, like I tried to ignore the voice for as long as possible, and got into like the meat of it, I guess, which is really just like the end of the first episode, which I didn't make it to the first time. And like the ending of it is like a major hook, like a tension grabber.
Yeah.
So it was like super sick, and especially with all the like D&D stuff that I've been into like recently, it's just like so cool to see magic stuff not be necessarily like fairies and pixie dust.
Right.
It's like cool like battle magic, but actually like animated really well, and not just a flash of light and someone flies across the room or something. It's actually got like really cool animation.
Yeah.
I've been watching that. I did my final presentation for my class, which is nerdy. My final class I have to take.
Nice.
All I have left is like a paper, I think. I should probably check, but I think I only have a paper left.
And by paper, do you mean your thesis?
No. My
Okay.
dissertation's like not related to a class.
Okay, that's cool. So,
Th-
okay.
Yeah, this will be like a portion of my dissertation proposal.
I
But
thought
there's
you-
only like 5 pages, and my proposal is going to have to be like 50 pages.
I thought you were like downplaying the fact, like, yeah, I just have this paper left to write. It's no big deal, though.
No. This one is no big deal. Like,
Okay.
five pages is like an hour of writing, maybe like 2 hours tops, of like finding all the references. But
Yeah.
it's not bad at all.
I can't even remember what it's like to have to study anything. Like even the things I need to study now for work, I barely. My employers don't watch this. I barely can bring myself to actually go through that stuff. Like my attention span doesn't seem to last more than 10 minutes on anything. Like it's.
I don't study. That's the good part about being in like a like graduate program. You like really don't study because it's stuff that like you specialize in.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
for the majority of it, like obviously like statistics and stuff, I gotta kind of learn what it is. But like most of the stuff, it's just like a deeper dive into what I already know. So it's not necessarily studying, or it doesn't. Yeah, you don't have to like read the material 10,000 times to figure it out, because most of the stuff is like, for exams at least, most of the stuff is like explain this theory or something. Or like explain why this is a thing. And it's not like a specific answer because there are multiple theories of why something happens. So it's like you give your theory and why you think that. So it's like just stuff you learn from like reading and stuff like that. Not necessarily like the studying is completely different.
Yeah.
Because I guess technically reading a topic is studying, but it's not like memorization studying or anything like that.
I can see that.
And that's
I'm like, I try to motivate my wife to get into, like, Aida was talking about studying something, so I talked her into studying, go ahead and doing a training program, HR related thing. I'm like, yeah, get certified, in that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it with you. I'll make time. We'll do it together every night. Blah blah blah. And the first day she goes and does half of it by herself before I get home. And I'm like, oh. And then the next day I'm like, oh. And then the third day I'm like, okay, let me catch up. And I grab hold of some of the stuff and I look through, and it was like,
yeah. Reading stuff to try to like memorize it is, way different than just reading something because you're interested in the topic.
And that's the nice thing about my field of work right now inside of IT is it's pretty much all on the job training now. It's like, I don't know how to do that. Let me go like see how it was built over here, and then let me just replicate that. Cool, now I know how to do it, and now I can just like make it happen.
Yeah, my job is like that. So like, that's what I do at my job. I'm like, I don't fucking know anything about thermoplastics. Let me just go ask somebody, or like find another shoe that did something similar and see how it was done there. Or just like, usually it's just me asking somebody for what they did and why. Yeah. And they like explain the whole thing to me. I'm like, cool. I don't really have to like study for work.
I got to get out of sales. Like.
Yeah. We don't really like study anything at work.
Yeah. I mean, even for like even with AWS like certifications, it's all like they tell you, even like the entry level certifications, they tell you not to take unless you've been working in AWS for at least a year, because it's all like use-based questions. And so
that sounds kind of counterintuitive though, like
a little. Yeah, it's I mean, they because you can get
Don't come and learn how to do this unless you've been doing this for a year.
Well, you can get it for free, and like I think it's for free. You know, there's a free tier that you can go and like play with. They're like, go play with it while you're studying the material, and then take the test after a year. And that way because it's kind of, a lot of stuff you just kind of have to do to really understand it. So
I'm in a no certification field. I don't really need any certifications.
I'm supposed my field requires, a bachelor's degree and or certifications, and my field is the post you see, entry level position requires 5 years experience, a bachelor's degrees, and 3 certifications. Like that is how all of my job postings read. Like, oh, entry level position, but you need 4 gold medals and 6 high scores to be able to get the job. And so
we should do the same for all our fans. Like, hey, listen.
Yeah.
At the end of this quarter, we're going to be having the test, the Nerds from Work test, and of course, you can't do the test unless you've been, following.
Right.
Not allowed to follow the show until you pass the test.
Yeah, we might fail that test ourselves.
So you follow the show, right? Dope. Naru, what you been up to, man?
I've actually been doing a decent amount of Marvel Comics reading.
There you go.
Initially, the plan was to try to get caught up on Marvel movies. And then I realized that I didn't have access to those. Some of them I didn't have access to, and I wasn't really ready to start doing the whole deep dive to find some, and I wasn't ready to, spend money. And then I got sidetracked by the, like last week in particular, I got sidetracked by the No Road Home event with Avengers No Road Home, and I'm like, it was a very interesting, comic book series. I'm going to read something to you guys. It's kind of funny, but some people really take this stuff a lot more seriously than we do. Like, check this out. This is from a review. Ewing, Wade, and Zhu present the finale as a metatextual meditation on the nature of storytelling, the importance of hope in a medium that recently been overly preoccupied with darkness, and what it takes to be a hero. I'm like, what? That reads like someone's dissertation.
that reads exactly like everything that I read.
Thank you. I'm like, whoa, dude.
And the authors are like, we just wanted to draw colorful pictures and people beating each other up. It's like...
I'm like, I'm not lying. I need to go look up the word metatextual. Like, what the hell?
Like, being around some of the designers, like at New Balance and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they put some weird they do some weird shit like that. Like, I'm not even going to lie. About, like, certain things are like, oh, I did this shape because I want it to, like, it's in our, like, for example, there's a Adidas shoe that came out, and the outsole traction design. Right. They were like, the design is inspired by the flow of space and time and all of this stuff. And I'm like, to tell you the truth, like, it doesn't faze me at all if the designer was like, yes, this is actually, like, I would think that this is what it looks like. This is how I want it. Like, designers and, like, artists, they like
yeah, do you, man?
As a consumer, don't get it all. I just see it and I'm like, oh, that's cool. But like from the artist perspective, I bet they did, like, the people who are critiquing that probably know that side of it, and they're probably like, yep, this is exactly why they did this. And like the artist is like, yeah, or the artist like, I did it slightly different because XYZ.
Yeah, I love comic books, right? And I've had some interesting conversations with some artists and creatives, and then some of them would just look at me like, you did not just say that. When I tell them that there's some books I read that honestly I can't remember any of the art. Like, I just run right through it because I'm trying to get to the end of the story. And they're like, what? The entire medium is about the art. I'm like, I agree, except it kind of flew right past me. I want to get to the end of the story. It's so compelling. So that's me, though. I've been doing a lot of Marvel. Also, I've been reading West Coast Avengers, which is not entirely something I typically would do. Somebody talked about a really great story arc and a new superhero that apparently has the powers of what's effectively Wolverine and oh shit, what's his name? Black Spider-Man.
Miles Morales.
Not Miles Morales, the black suit.
Symbiote.
The symbiote.
Venom.
Venom, yeah. Somebody who's got the ability to turn vibranium. Sorry, not vibranium. Is it vibranium?
Nope.
I'm totally out of it today.
Adamantium.
No, it's vibranium.
No, Wolverine. Are you talking about?
Wolverine's adamantium.
No, I'm talking about the metal. The metal is vibranium.
From Wakanda. Okay.
The person can take vibranium and coat herself with it and manipulate it the way Venom is, goes
the symbiote.
the symbiote does, and can also make like claws and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm trying to rush to get to that part, and I'm getting bogged down in all the everlasting weirdness that is West Coast Avengers any time of the day.
Who's on the West Coast Avengers? I don't know.
Pretty much Katie Bishop. They've also pulled in, of all people,
Just Katie.
Hawkeye.
Okay.
Almost always seems to get caught up in West Coast Avengers stuff. But yeah, it's been amusing, entertaining, and weird as hell.
I saw Blade has been popping up in comics recently.
Blade is in the Avengers. Blade is in the Avengers.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Blade and Ghost Rider.
Do you think Blade is going to be in the new Morpheus?
God, I hope so.
Morbius. What the fuck's that guy's name?
Morbius.
Morbius.
I don't
The new Morpheus movie.
I hope so. I mean, that'd be a nice Easter egg or a nice surprise, Like
yeah, because I remember in the cartoons they like went back and forth for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
That'd be sick.
I mean, they're pretty much in the same space.
Yeah, because
vampires and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't really do a Marvel vampire type thing and not have Blade at least referenced.
Yeah. There'll definitely be an Easter egg, but I wonder if like he's gonna be in the movie.
Hey, look, if Fox is trying to get the fans to go, whoa, and like, oh wait, hold up.
You mean Disney?
Yeah.
Disney owning everybody.
Yeah,
bro.
Damn it, that would have been awesome though. Like if they could actually do that. Like one last hurrah.
Disney's collecting companies like their Infinity Stones, dude. Like it's just
and they about to flex them and snap the other companies out of existence.
It's nuts. I can't believe.
Woo! Speaking of, did you guys catch the Endgame?
Probably not.
Red carpet.
Nope. I refuse to watch anything Endgame until I see the movie.
Oh, I saw the red carpet, and then when Gwyneth Paltrow comes on, she starts. They're interviewing different people one after the other. When she comes on, she starts speaking, and I just. I think it was something just told me. I just tuned her out, and I stopped listening to anything she said. About 3 minutes later, I started seeing on my Twitter feed, did Gwyneth Paltrow just spoil that game?
I'm telling you, dude, that's why I refuse. It makes me mad because, early critic viewings, I've been, tweeting stuff, they're, first impression stuff, and I'm I'm always, 4 words or 5 words into the tweet before I realize it's an in-game tweet, and I'm like, "Fuck no! I don't want to know anything."
All those guys are pretty cool though, because they're very good about trying their.
I mean, they are, but
anything they'll tell you stuff I laughed so hard, I cried so hard, I lifted my hands.
I don't want to know any of that though.
Okay, that's fine. Don't tell me anything else.
The only thing I know about it is I tried to look up tickets today, and. For Thursday, the theater over here that I go to, on Thursday, I think it was starting at 6 p.m. until 2:30 a.m. Every single theater or every single room in the theater is showing Endgame.
Damn.
They're not playing any other movies.
Just a friend of mine was talking about getting his tickets the other day. I'm like, are you kidding me? For when? He goes, I thought I checked for Thursday. I'm like,
no.
Allow me to look over your shoulder while you do this. And he checks. Hey, we got some more. They still have seats in my local theater. I'm like, where do you live? He goes, Snellville. I'm like, oh. Then he starts looking and he goes, oh, there's only 8 seats at the very front row.
Yeah, that's how these were. Unless you went to the 245, the only seats available were the very front row. And it's 6 o'clock, 6:15, 6:30, 6:45.
Right, all sold out.
I mean,
they're not sold out, but they have random one seats
right
throughout the theater.
Place, right. And unless even me, I couldn't get a seat unless I was ready to go by myself. So I just thought, you know what, screw it. For Thursday I'll go by myself. For Saturday I'm going with some of the guys from Vonage back in the day, and then on sometime next week, I'm going to go with my wife and we can go see it together again. So I'm going to see it 3 times in the first couple of weeks.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We're all going to see it Friday at 6:30.
Oh, cool.
3 days. I'm pumped. Pumped.
I know a guy. I mean, people spend money, dude, on these tickets. I know a guy who said, "Look, the things went live. He bought 8 tickets straight up. Just pick that whole
shit. You can sell them for $2,500.
Oh no,
eBay.
this was he was buying this for himself and his crew. Hey, we going. This was planned. The second it went live, boom, just bought.
I would have sold them.
Oh, I don't doubt you would. I don't doubt you would. Hell, I'm shocked you're gonna see it.
Yeah. It took me so long to get my freaking tickets. And it was like 8 hours or something stupid of refreshing and coming back to it, and AMC being like, "Oh, we're sorry, we didn't anticipate every single person in the country trying to buy a ticket at the same time." After I'm pretty sure you had problems when the last Avengers movie came out.
Right.
But hey, what do I know?
Yo, did you get yours using A-list or no?
No, I'm not A-list. I'm just
Dude, you guys who don't have A-list made it worse for the rest of us who do, because we couldn't even do anything. Like nothing could work. I got my ticket by. I had to go to Adam, the Adam website, and then get my tickets there, and then put in my A-list number. That's the only way I could make it work. Because I'm like, what the hell? It was crazy, man.
I'm a premium Stubs member, but I don't do A-list. If I had enough time to go see 2 movies a week, maybe, but.
I'm a C-list member where I sit on the couch.
And our D-list member is not here. So,
he's even worse. But,
having said that, though, what are you guys' expectations for Endgame?
I wanted to say what I did this week. Don't cut me off.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm running the show today. Damn it.
Hey, Tom Kersley, what did you?
Yeah. So nice. the only things I wanted to say was that when tomorrow night, because this is live Tuesday, I'm watching Avengers Infinity War, and I'll have watched all 21 movies, and I'll be ready to go for Avengers Endgame on Friday.
I said it wasn't possible, and you proved me wrong.
I'm here just breaking, shattering barriers, making things happen. So
how many showers have you taken in the past 3 weeks?
Not enough. No.
Raise your hand if you've been training your bladder,
bro. Dude, I've already got that iron bladder down. I saw Lord of the Rings: Return of the King in theater. I'm good to go.
You didn't pee?
Nah, bro. The only movie I've ever had to get up in the middle of was Skyfall. For whatever, it's not even that long of a movie, but for whatever reason, I couldn't.
A lot of waterfalls in there,
I guess.
I pee every 30 minutes. Sometimes on the show, I actually just get up and go pee. Sometimes. If anybody actually watched the show, the video, they would notice that I just stand up and walk off sometimes and come back.
I thought you were gonna go get your dog.
My what?
The last, and then I have to do honorable mention because I'm the only one on the show who talks about it. I finally watched the Star Trek Discovery season finale today. Came out last Thursday, and season 2 is done, and it was dope. Season 2.
You liked it?
Well, I enjoyed season 2 way more than I enjoyed season 1.
But did you like the finale?
Yes, I liked it, but I don't know what they're gonna do next. They didn't leave it. They didn't leave a cliffhanger. But they also made it seem like they kind of closed the book, if you will.
Bad sign.
but from my understanding, they've been okayed for a season 3. I just have no idea what season 3 is going to look like.
They finished filming season 2 before they got okayed for season 3.
Yeah, right.
Well, I asked the question because a buddy of mine on the Niger Nerds group, one of the guys there, he's big on Star Trek, and he's been watching every episode.
Yeah.
He finally went on and he did this rant where he's just a 15-minute video where he's just ranting about the entire show. And I'm like, dude, really? Was it that bad? He goes, yeah. I mean, he has issues with this and that, and people they were trying to, stuff he felt that he tried to, get some strong emotional beats that he hadn't earned, and he had a whole lot of stuff. You probably should look at. I probably send you a link to it. It was interesting.
I probably have an idea of some of the stuff that he has issues with. It's especially if he's a diehard Trekkie. There's a few things that they do that are very kind of 90 degrees from where classic Star Trek might have been. Even though some things like the classic Star Trek was the very first ever televised mixed race kiss on TV.
Right.
So they've always kind of done that last stuff, but then they have an open gay couple on this in this series, and they're a main characters in the show, and they do some.
Oh, he doesn't care about half that stuff.
Some of that, okay, because my dad's older
about,
too.
For example, he talked about a person who they kind of hype. That trick they do where it's they hadn't thought this through, and they kind of hype up a specific character just because she's gonna die. That sort of thing. He felt
all of Game of Thrones.
Well, they basically hadn't had you care about a person.
I think I know which character.
So before the person dies or the
okay, I can see that.
Come on, man. you could have had us invested in these people for 4 episodes,
Yeah.
or practically the whole season before, and then suddenly you decide, yeah, this person's gonna go, so we're gonna make you care, and people can see it coming. Like, you're telegraphing their death, and it's like it's not necessary. So, yeah.
But no, I liked
Game of
it.
Thrones is a little different. Like, the last episode of Game of Thrones, everybody has like this really wonderful time, and you just know, oh crap, everybody's gonna die.
Because they're about to kill everybody.
I saw the next episodes is the Battle of something, and it's supposed to be
Battle of Winterfell.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like the biggest. It's the longest episode. It's the biggest fight ever televised. Blah 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 blah. And so
yeah, they're gonna fucking kill everybody because they had like super heartfelt moments in this last episode of like every character. It's like, yep, they're all fucking dying.
Everybody's about to die.
I'll
definitely.
tell you this much. I think they're gonna flip a twist on everybody. Like, you're looking at that thinking, okay, this is gonna happen, but I don't. Spoilers for those who haven't seen the last episode, but at the end of the episode, we don't see the Night King. Like, I suspect he may not show up there.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't fucking know.
Like, they're like, oh, the Night King's coming, and then you see his crew.
I don't try to put any like. I don't know. I say what I think will happen, but I have no faith in anything. And like, you know what? That sounds right. Like, that could happen. But also, they do the most weird, random shit that I've never heard. Like the whole Arya scene. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
No, the Arya scene made a lot of sense to me. Like,
it makes sense, but I just didn't think they would do it. Like, it makes sense, but a lot of stuff
they would do it.
Like, oh, this makes sense. They don't do. Other times you're like, this makes sense. They definitely like. There's no like trying to predict what Game of Thrones is gonna happen. What's gonna happen?
True. But
like,
I mean, I saw
good at that.
A mile away. Like, this is like she's hanging around Gendry, and you're like, okay. Oh, crazy thing. My wife today, she starts like she was trying to remember what the first scene she saw in Game of Thrones was. So she turns on the show and goes back to season 1, episode 1, and starts it. And about 5 minutes in, Arya shows up, 10 years old. She's like, ah! I was like, oh my god,
little baby Arya.
That was
suddenly you're traumatized because
it was like someone like hitting their computer super fast, and it was like Game of Thrones fans googling how old Arya Stark actually.
Yeah,
like, you're not allowed to do this. She's too young. She's like 11 years old. She's like 18 in that. Yeah, she's like 18
in your mind. The actress is 22. Arya Stark herself is 18.
Yeah. But like
the whole thing is,
to me, the seasons
still a grown ass man.
Like a year. Like, I know they like are roughly the seasons are roughly like a year long, or a year of time, or like at least it's like we're on the 8th season. It's been 8 years, so it's like, in some extent, like they average out to be a year, but they don't seem like that. So I'm still like, this is probably like 4 years since it started. It feels like. I mean, it would be a hectic ass 4 years, but
especially when you think about the fact, like for example, Gendry, like you see him in season 1, he looks the same as he does now.
Yeah, Arya looks the same she does now. She does. That actress did not get older.
She does not. She looks a kid. She's a kid.
She got a little baby face. Her face like this big, like a 10-year-old. She looks like a little kid to me, and I think that might just
be a little kid. And they play that up, but I mean, it's like going back and watching the original Harry Potter, the first episodes of Harry Potter, the first season,
first movie.
Anyway, Harry Potter, you go see Harry Potter when he's a kid, you see him in like the last 2 movies, and you realize, man, this kid grew. I mean,
I don't know. I was talking to Alex about that too. Like, yeah, he grew, and like, yeah, Arya grew up for sure, but like, they still look little to me. Like Harry and Hermione in the last movie still look like little kids to me, but like Ron got old as fuck. Like out of all of them, Ron turned into an old ass man.
Yeah.
Like, there's a weird thing about, I don't know what it actually is, but like when people get cast as kids, maybe it's just like my brain playing tricks on me, but like they don't, like most of them don't, I don't feel like they age that much. Like, and then they end up having like a weird like Gary Coleman disease or something.
Like, yeah, though. Well, to be fair, I think the casting directors know what they're doing. Like when they're casting a person for a long role, I mean, you're gonna look at their family. You're gonna look at everything about them. Like, okay, I mean, if you have family that look
the
like
whole cast of Malcolm in the Middle, all those kids still look like.
I'm just saying, yeah. Like if you're gonna cast a person to play a kid for a show that might last 5 to 10 years, you don't cast a kid who's 10, whose older brother or sister looks like they're already 20. So I mean,
well, also like was that? Was that show? Modern Family.
Mm-hmm.
The like oldest sister in Modern Family is like my age or older. She like looks like she doesn't even look 18 in the show. She plays like an 18-year-old like graduated high school in the show, and I'm like, no, you're like 14. Don't sit down. She's like older than me, I think. Had like a liver transplant or something.
That's I'm actually curious. They talked about for Shazam 2, kind of the opposite effect. Is they're trying to immediately jump on Shazam 2 so that the actors don't age out of the roles, because like it's supposed to be a kid playing Shazam, right? But if it takes you 4 years to make the next movie, well, that kid's not going to look like a kid anymore, right?
Well, how many years were there between the Harry Potter films?
Well, that's a little different because those books, you're designed to grow up with the characters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so
they were supposed to be, but I think they did film like every year, like
which is kind of my point. My point is
they filmed a lot.
Yeah,
they were filming very frequently. They were releasing this stuff, a year and a half, a year and 2 years. It was pretty regular, so you could watch them grow, but you can still have a sense that they were still kids. But the typical superhero cycle for a sequel is 3 to 4 years.
Right.
Here's another one. Spider-Man. How old was he when they actually cast him? I thought he was like 16 or 17. Now he's like
Tom Holland.
Yeah, Tom Holland. He still fucking looks 16 or 17.
I think he was like 18 when they cast him, and he's gonna look like he's 12 for the rest of his life. Like
that's another one that's like cast to play a kid and will never look older than the day they cast him.
No,
it's weird. It's weird.
You also Paul Rudd is in his 50s.
Hell yeah, dude.
Dude, that guy.
No way.
Yeah. Look it up. That dude, when
way.
his birthday was like a month or two ago, and they were showing pictures. He looks the exact same as he does in his like late 20s.
Who else is up there? Rashida Jones, Pharrell.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Pharrell's old as fuck.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Pharrell's a noted vampire. Like everybody knows this.
Yeah, I was listening to Pharrell when I was like in elementary school.
Yeah.
Pharrell's 46.
Wow.
46. Yeah, and I think Rashida Jones is like a similar age to Pharrell.
Okay.
Probably like 44 or something.
Paul Rudd's 50.
I told you.
He's 50?
Yeah, he turned 50 this year. Dude looks like he's 30. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But he has looked the same like my whole life.
Has not changed. He's the exact same. Which I just rewatched Ant-Man and the Wasp last night before last. And so it's funny too because like I'm watching them in chronological order, not in release order. And by doing that, I watch Ant-Man and the Wasp before Infinity War. And so like I'm trying to put myself in the headspace of like never seeing Infinity War, and then you watch that in trailer where all three of the outside turn to dust. Could you imagine seeing that scene, not knowing what happens in Infinity War, and be like, "What the fuck?" Like that would be crazy, dude. That would be so nuts.
Speaking of end credits, word on the street, Endgame, no end credits.
No way.
Yep.
They have to have at least one.
Nah, they should.
Everybody's talking about it.
Unless...
No end credits, no mid credits, nothing.
You know what though? If there was a movie to just end it and be done, it would be this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of Ant-Man and the Wasp, do you think Ant-Man's gonna fly up Thanos' wiener?
I believe it's supposed to be the other hole, but yeah.
Like explode in his wiener. And
the Thanos Thanos theory.
Thanos.
The Thanos anus theory.
Yeah. The Thanos.
I don't know, dude. I would go for the wiener.
My daughter was sitting with me, and I was watching a YouTube video when that came up, and she just turned and looked at me like, "What?" I took a picture of it real quick. I'm like, "Give me that look again." She was in shock, man. I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get this kid traumatized before she hits her teeth."
I think the wiener would do more damage.
So let's take that then, right? If we assume Thanos dies in this movie, who kills him? Who actually kills him?
Ant-Man. It's obvious.
Ant-Man? Okay.
I don't know.
Right?
I think about it.
That's on the spot. This is live.
Oh no, dude! I was let you answer.
I forgot we're live.
Oh yeah, no shit. I forgot to start recording the first half of it for the podcast version, so I'm gonna have to pull that off YouTube later. So that's gonna be fun. Yay, editing.
He'll never listen this far. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's gonna be a team thing, like fucking the end of any Power Rangers episode where they all fucking stick their guns together and they shoot somebody. That's how it's gonna actually be. But I feel like the power is probably gonna come from like Captain Marvel, just because that's the most recent movie that they're hyping. So I could see that.
I absolutely think that the same way Thanos took out Hulk is the same way Captain Marvel is going to show up thinking, "Yeah, come here, big boy," and he's gonna take her out so bad, like he's going to subvert all her expectations. She's gonna think like, "Yeah, she thinks."
Well, I think everybody's going to be wrecked. Like, I think literally every character is about to get wrecked. It's going to be sick.
Yeah. Clearly, the first thing they do is not going to work, which is expected.
Right.
And I think
did you guys watch the trailer, by the way?
I only watched the very first.
I've seen the trailer. I stopped seeing the TV spots, but every trailer they've released, I've seen.
Freaking costumes are hideous.
For what?
The red and white ones.
Yeah.
So funny. The funniest thing I've seen.
They're not supposed to look good, man. They're supposed to be for something else.
The funniest thing I've seen is in Thor Ragnarok when Thor's in the Hulk's room, and he's like trying to make fun of him, and he's like, "And what is this color scheme? You know, red and white. Just pick a color." And then it flash forwards to them in those costumes is the exact same color scheme. I was like, "That's funny." People on the internet pick up on everything. It's great.
People don't miss a thing. Like, I've seen some stuff that made me stop and go, "What?"
I will say, watching the movies back to back, you do pick up a lot of things. Like in Thor Ragnarok, when Hulk jumps out of the thing and lands and like bounces off the Rainbow Bridge, which is that scene was fucking hilarious. He does that in the Incredible Hulk. He jumps out of the helicopter, crashes into the road, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, he just died." It wasn't funny in that scene, and then he crawls out of the road, but like, boom, callback. He does it again. Totally didn't catch that the first time I saw that movie.
Well, to be fair, the first movie he crashes through the road because he's already turned into the Hulk. Like, that's the only reason he crashes through.
But you don't see him. You don't see him turn into the Hulk before he crashes through the road.
No, you don't. But at the same time, you know the fact
right. But I mean,
that
that was kind of the callback in Thor 3 when they did it again. Totally missed that the first time I saw Thor. I was like, okay, I see what you did there. That was very nice.
I feel like the people who pick out all the Easter eggs are people who rewatched every movie before every movie. So they've seen all of them like a trillion times now.
Dude, these are the people, like the guys who do the videos where they track everything and they review every trailer and they pick out every little nuance. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's obsessive compulsive. That's putting your OCD to good use.
Like, I would have to get so many freaking like sponsors and shit to pay me to do that. That's so difficult.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about like a lot, because there are some YouTubers that you're like, this person probably makes good money. They get a decent amount of views. It's like probably average like $35,000 a year. It's like, nah, fuck you, dude. Like, I would have to be like those people who are making like $1 million a year on YouTube for that to be my job. Because like, my current job is like me picking out nuances of like, yeah, I saw that you sent this blueprint back and this is 0.2 mils off. So like, fix that. Like, I couldn't imagine doing that to like movie trailers of like, oh yeah, did you hear how they said this word though? Almost makes it a question. It's like, oh my God, dude.
Oh man. So one of my favorite memes I saw though was where Carol's telling the other Avengers, you know, like, hey, new girl, everybody here has been, you know, we're all about the superhero life. You know, she's like, where were you? And she's like, there's many other planets and they didn't have any heroes like you guys. And then the meme cuts to the Guardians of the Galaxy, like, are we a joke to you? You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. Oh man, I mean, it's funny, but to be fair, they're pretty much rascals. They're not
right. So I don't think Thanos dies at the end of the movie. I think they defeat him. They have to defeat him, right? Or else if they don't defeat him, there is some form of defeat, right? Even if it's like a compromised defeat, which is probably what we're gonna get, there's some form of we won, but did we really kind of thing. But I don't think he dies. I think he.
Ant-Man is like, I'll expand in your penis unless you leave.
There's actually a
Reverse
video.
this.
I don't know if you saw it. There's actually a video where they reverse the whole Thanos theory, where Thanos goes, "Okay, enough of this stuff," and then he uses the Infinity Stones and forces Ant-Man to grow into Giant Man, and then flies up his ass, and then blows him up from inside.
Wow.
And it's like, okay, one down. So yeah, man. I mean,
that would be cool.
to be honest, I mean, I was kidding about Ant-Man taking him out, but I would not be surprised if they pulled. If you guys know, there was this comic book villain who showed up one time and took out. He was like a world-threatening, situation, and everybody had to go take him out. And it was like, I'm talking like the Avengers, X-Men, and everybody went together, and they pretty much all died, or most of them died. In the process of taking him out, so many of them died in doing that. So they took him out,
Right.
but
Yeah, that's a cool theory though. Like, what if just another villain comes and just fucking kills Thanos on the spot, and then is like, "I'll be back," and then just fucking leaves.
that would be shitty storytelling.
And then it's just like, all right, new Avengers, start up.
unless it was a villain that we'd seen already, but we didn't realize
The
was still.
Scrolls.
How about
Thanos isn't
how
really
about the Red
Thanos;
Skull?
he's just a fucking scroll.
What about the Red Skull?
Well, but he's like a phantom-y thing, right? He was protecting the Soul Stone.
Well, yeah, but you and I know, even though he's there, the Soul Stone's gone, so he may be free. May he resumed his quest.
So that's gonna be my question: do you think we're gonna get a surprise appearance of somebody that is not like we know obviously the superheroes that are left? Are they going to? Do you think they'll introduce anybody new, or do you think there's anybody they'll bring back that like everybody's quote unquote forgot about from any of the other movies?
I think there's going to be some people brought back. There's going to be some callbacks.
Loki.
Do you think he's dead?
No. Loki's coming back. That's what we talked about that one shot.
Loki's going to be back in some form, like especially if they pull the time travel stunt and have them go back in time. Whether he's going to be back alive at the end of this depends, because it depends on what point they reverse things to. Like, let's say they reverse things to the point where the point of the snap. Well, in that case, Loki's screwed.
Right.
But if they reverse things to further before that, then who knows, right?
You gotta be careful.
If they end up killing off all the like original Avengers, there's no need to bring Loki back.
They're not killing Thor off.
Is Thor not getting killed off?
Nope.
See, that pissed me off because I heard that same, I think the same rumor that, or some of the Tessa Thompson thing news. Did you hear the same thing that I heard?
I think she just made a statement like, "What? Nah, he's not." And she wasn't very clear about it. It was more like her mind was like,
yeah, of course we're getting a Thor 4 or whatever, which I think is a mistake.
And even Thor, and like I know they've asked Chris Evans this, and he's like, honestly, you never can tell. I mean, to be fair, they can tell stories involving Thor or involving,
Yeah, because it could be a different time.
It could be a different time. It could be a flashback. I mean, they did Captain Marvel set in the 90s, right? There's stories they could tell in that world that go before all these events. So, I mean, Thor's been around kicking ass for a long time. So there's stories they could tell about his past. Now, granted, he's not going to be the same fun guy.
We need to get what's the Beta Ray Bill? We need to get a Beta Ray Bill.
Oh man, dude, I was watching Planet Hulk, the cartoon, the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, this movie needed to be made. And I'm like, I'm so glad we at least got part of it.
Right.
It out through all this. But you just know we're never going to see a World War Hulk.
No.
Which,
because Marvel doesn't own the distribution rights to Hulk.
No, but they could tell the story in an Avengers story.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's what they did, right? They basically, like, Mark Ruffalo was asked, he said, listen, they knew they didn't have the distribution rights, so they figured out a way. They asked him, what movie would you want to make? And he said, this is what I would like to make. Like, okay, well, fine. Why don't we just tell that in a 3-part story arc across 3 or 4 movies, and you get what you want? He goes, sweet.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty dope. I'm very interested to see what they do. So then the last question, because I think maybe we can go for a little bit on this last piece, and then we'll wrap it up. Who's the next big bad? We've been working towards Thanos for what 12 years now, right? Because he was teased at the end of the first Avengers movie in 2012, right? So 7 years. They've been dropping little pieces of Thanos. We're finally gonna finish the Thanos story. Now what? Who's the next big bad?
That depends on if they decide to seed the next series of movies in this movie. And don't forget, Kevin Feige's already said that the actual end of Phase 3 is Spider-Man Far From Home.
Really?
Yeah, that Avengers ends the story arcs, but the actual official end of Phase 3 is Far From Home.
They did the same crap with the
they
first.
They could decide to seed it in Far From Home, and
not necessarily just like where it's gonna pop. But what character, right? Who's left?
No, I said seed. I said they could seed. It depends on if they choose to seed it in. I mean, they've already done some things that like, for example, at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, we know Adam Warlock is coming. Right. We know that there's some cosmic entities out there that we haven't seen yet. We've seen in Thor Ragnarok. We've seen. I don't know. They're underusing those guys, the cosmic level threats, because they're pretty much jokes and comedians in their roles. The Collector and this other guy in Thor Ragnarok. What's his name? The Game Master. So you got Game Master, you got Collector. All these guys are actually world-threatening entities based off of the stuff they pull in the comics. So they could, go the cosmic route and bring somebody we haven't thought about or seen yet.
And they have Fox now too, right? So who's the big Fantastic Four? Galactus?
No, because I think honestly they've already planned a lot of this stuff out 4 or 5 years down the road.
Well, but they also had
he's not showing up anytime soon.
They also had their plans, but they had contingencies if they got Spider-Man. So the minute that the rumors started that they might get Fox, they started going ahead. Okay, well here's some branches that we could possibly do if we get Fox. So it may not be as long as you think to start roping in Fantastic Four and X-Men and Deadpool and start bringing in that whole.
The X-Men news was just released like yesterday, wasn't it?
What's that?
About there was like a wait, am I the first to know something about actual comic book thing?
What X-Men
I don't
news?
know.
There was a some person was like talking about the X-Men, and they said that like this next X-Men movie is the perfect sign off for this cast because they're redoing it all. So they are like already redoing, planning on redoing X-Men because they're like, yeah, this current cast is a perfect send off for them. So they're like already planning it. So that was pretty much obvious from the beginning.
Because Dark Phoenix comes out what, June or July or something?
I think it's July.
Yes, I think that's gonna happen, and then they're gonna like fucking recast them and put them in the
Dark Phoenix is June.
Probably put them in the actual like universe or whatever.
Bring them in, because shit maybe not like the big bad, but like a several movie like a Loki bad, level bad. Magneto, man. Magneto is such a dope fucking villain.
Dr. Doom is sick as fuck.
Dr. Doom, and you know what? Dr. Doom could almost be like a Thanos level villain, right?
Dr. Doom is Thanos level.
Oh, that's right. So let's bring that flavor in because that would be super dope.
They own that.
Well, they own all of Fox, right? Which includes
Fantastic Four
and the X-Men stuff. So
Marvel like to do things the Marvel way. So there's a very strong chance that if they bring anything over from Fox straight away, it's going to be Fantastic Four. I've always felt like the end of the Infinity Saga would be the perfect time to show or trigger some event that leads to the advent of a rise of mutants. Like something happens that triggers the mutant gene, some gene in people, and then that stuff starts to happen. Whether they're going to take that route, I don't know.
Right.
If they do, it makes sense. They may not explore the potential of what the powers can do for the next several, movies. It could still be a latent thing where people start showing up with, small powers or small abilities. So do that for the next few movies as something happening in the background. But yeah, they could definitely do that.
So they also said that they're planning on finishing the New Mutants. Like, and
Really?
still,
Yeah, they said that.
Wow.
It's gonna come out.
So I wonder if, I also am wondering if New Mutants is going to be a one and done, like, fuck them, or if they're going to be like, oh, this is cool. This will be the start of the new X-Men stuff.
Well, that depends, though. Like, check out Get Out, the movie Get Out, right? The movie was done. People were like, whoa, it became a phenomenon. There hasn't been a really cool superhero horror movie take that captured the imagination. And if if New Mutants does it, then who knows? I mean, money talks, dude. If New Mutants shocks everybody and hits, I don't know.
See, I think it's gonna take that though, right? Because New Mutants was half to 3/4 already done by Fox, right? And Disney, a lot of things, but play wells with others, not one of them, right? They'd rather just buy it and do it themselves, kind of thing. At least So I'll be very curious to see if they take what Fox has already built and potentially filmed or whatever, how much of it's already done, and then take that and be like, okay, now we're gonna keep going with it. Saying like they'd rather just be like, no, like it's cool, let's finish it because we already have like 3/4 of the footage or whatever. We can we can finish making it for next to nothing. And if you put X-Men in the name, people are gonna go see it, right? It'll make a little bit of money.
I don't know if they were saying they don't know if it was actually going to theaters or not. So there had been like rumors that it would go like straight to Hulu or something.
Okay, I can see
that's entirely possible.
I can see that
because the reality is this. Brandon is right. I remember when they did the announcement at the Disney event. On the screen, I actually shared the picture. One of the things that's on there in terms of the things coming is New Mutants. You can see it as one of the future releases.
Okay.
Disney putting that out there tells you it's coming. Whether it's going to be in theaters, that's anybody's guess. But I there's no point not
just put it out on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even like straight to Netflix or straight to Hulu stuff is doing really well anyways. So.
Did you just say Netflix?
Yeah, straight to Netflix or straight to Hulu, like straight to streaming type stuff.
Okay, just not Netflix, because
not Disney to Netflix.
That's not happening anymore. Honestly, though, it would take a lot of
Star Wars just got put on Netflix.
It's getting taken off as soon as Disney Plus gets.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's like everything has like the clock is ticking, dude. It's like 3 months and that's it. Boom, that's it. So no.
But like also like Tank was saying, like that they don't really want to like playing well with others. Of like they might just say finish whatever is currently done.
Make on Hulu. And we're good.
Yeah. Literally, there might be a whole thing just finished sitting over there. They're like, well, we were gonna plug some stuff or maybe refilm some scenes, and Disney's like, fuck it, we don't care. We're about to redo all this anyways. And like, the next 5 years, we're about to remake the entire X-Men like world.
Right.
So it's all going to be led by Emma Frost. She's actually going to be a large character. So.
Honestly, I have no clue what's coming. All I know is this: a new age is coming, a whole new dynamic is coming, because with Disney Plus hitting the airwaves, a whole new series of things being made, all this stuff we've been watching for the last 12 years wrapping up. I'm excited for the future, but I'm also scared because I have no idea where they're going to take any of this, for one simple reason. From the second they released Iron Man, you knew kind of there was something else coming, but this is so big that they can't top this, so they got to just stop, take a breather, and do something fresh.
Right.
And I don't know what that fresh thing's going to be. I was talking to a guy the other day. He was like, he's like 12 when the first movies came out, and he's grown up with all this stuff. I put a picture on Instagram of there's a guy who's sitting down in the theater watching Iron Man, and then the same guy now he's sitting down with his wife and his kid watching Infinity or Endgame, and that's pretty much me. That's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I started watching this stuff. I'm alone, just got married. And then all of a sudden, I got a whole family. I got my kids. I'm talking about this stuff with my kids. I'm like, wow, this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what happens when I become like Tank's dad. I'm sorry, Tonk's dad.
They're like the same age, though, right?
Probably. I don't know. Entirely possible.
That's great. All right, yeah, man. I think we're all pumped to go see it. Do we all have our tickets? Brandon, did you finally get tickets for it?
No, I just looked.
You slacker.
I didn't like buy tickets. I'll just buy tickets.
Brandon, you're special, man.
But man, so we're all pumped, and Yeah, man. So Naru, tell everybody where they can find you.
Y'all can find me on the Niger Nerd on Twitter, Instagram, and any other place you can find the Niger Nerd. That's pretty much it. You see me anywhere else and any other guys, I'm gonna say bye and block you.
You guys can find me all over the internet at The Caped Critic. And this week, Brandon, where can people find you?
Slow down.
I think it's pretty well known that out of everybody on the show, I might be the largest conspiracy theorist in terms of like flat Earth, moon landing not existing, lizard people living on a hologram moon. So, if you want to find me, you can find me on Awake Dating at bmiller425. There are people who seek the actual truth. Go to find other people who already know the actual truth.
Tin hat provided?
Yes. Just a bunch of aluminum foil. Leave in a sleeping bag.
I got nothing, man. I'm like, good God.
Dating. That's so the question is, did they like being probed dating or not? That's the
dating app for those that question the mainstream narrative.
The mainstream narrative. That's jeez Louise. So
oh my God, look at it. It's purple.
Jet fuel can't burn down steel I-beams, guys. You start saying every theory there.
Just fun, yeah, right. Chemtrails and yeah. So
they never found Hitler's body.
He's still alive.
That is true, though.
I mean, hey, there you go.
They never found his body. It's pretty wild.
Tank had nothing.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that. That's kind of that could be a very interesting.
They claimed that his burned body was found, and that they had his like skeleton or his like skull or whatever in a museum. And then, like, a couple years ago, someone was like, okay, well, now we have this DNA testing. We can, like, do DNA testing. And that's why they said that he died from a bullet to the head. So the skull had, like, a bullet blown out of the head or whatever.
Yeah.
They did DNA testing, and it wasn't Hitler's skull. So
what did they test that against, though?
And then, like, a couple years later, they were like, no, we got it. We just didn't, like, don't want it to be out there. But we got it, like, locked away. It's like, oh, for real? Yeah, there's some cool stuff. We should get into Netflix conspiracy theories.
I am not messing up my watch list. Thank you very much.
Ancient aliens.
At the end of the day, they're gonna make me doubt myself. Those guys, like, yeah, you don't actually exist. You're actually a clone.
If you do believe the moon landing was real, you can find all of us at The Nerds From Work on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Nerds From Work. You can find us patreon.com. Twitch.tv at TheNerdsFromWork. Man, check us out. Support us on Patreon. And, make sure you guys come back and check us out. And so from all of us here at the workplace, peace.
There's no wind on the moon.